welcome to GGSP. I'm Rad. Coming up on today's show, Will steps into virtual reality and heads back to the 90s to play some games within a game in Pixel Ripped 1995.
David, it's past your bedtime.
Plus, we visit Big Ant Studios, the Aussie developer responsible for bringing many of our favourite national sports to consoles and computers near you.
So we'll get Kokonakis or Kyrgios or Rafa, whoever, put them in a suit so you actually have them, and it makes all the difference.
What a time to be alive. Virtual reality, games within games, Big Ants. What will they think of next? Let's start the show.
As we approach a whole new generation of gaming, it's often nice to take a quick look back at the past. And that's exactly what Pixel Ripped 1995 aims to offer with its wacky VR trip through retro gaming. Through being a very important word there. Oh. Huh. I guess? Well, I don't quite know what I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't this. Anyway, Pixel Ripped 1995 is a sequel to the brilliant Pixel Ripped 1989. But aside from missing a little bit of context, you'll get by without playing the original. Though it is a good one, so give it a look. The evil Cyberlin Lord is back again, determined to destroy both the game and real world. Taking on the roles of both the digital powerhouse Dot and your 90s every kid David, you'll need to defend the realms by jumping into a variety of retro games that also spill into the real. It's a super fun twist on the era's staple gaming narrative, hero must save the world. It also makes room for some ingenious mechanics and some fun retro games. Borrowing heavily from games of the time, you'll be side-scrolling across Mario and Sonic-looking worlds, exploring pixel-paved lands similar to Zelda, and blasting through Metroid-like alien-infested sewers. Each game is so lovingly crafted, with subtle details and references strung throughout. And they're just generally fun to play, which makes it even worse when Mum comes in to turn the power off.
I don't want you to lose touch with reality, honey.
Yes, this game is all about giving you the true 90s gaming experience, and as it's in virtual reality, you'll have to deal with virtual reality. You're not just playing a game, you're playing as a kid who's playing a game. Your mum will be nagging you to turn off the console, so you'll need to distract her to keep on playing, or time turning the TV off so she thinks you're still asleep. Bear in mind, these tactics don't work in real life. Parents always know. So if they ask you to turn it off, reach a save point, and then turn it off. I do wish you were able to interact with David's world a little bit more though. You'll be playing almost the entire game seated or in a static position, so you don't have to worry about the usual disorientating VR movement. But that sadly removes a lot of the VR joy of exploring and interacting with your environments. There's scattered cards and empty chip packets, but nothing to really uncover. And when you're firing off your little dart blaster, only the integral objects will really move.
What a mess!
It's the little things we've come to expect from VR that just felt a little lacking in an otherwise impressive game. Not to worry though, there's enough color and noise in the real world to distract you, as this is where the game gets weird and allows the Cyberlin Lord out of his digital prison. Watching the seemingly real world crumble around you as the digital virus spews from your console is super creepy cool. And then you get to control your own little pixel characters bouncing around and fighting on your carpet, and you'll even end up playing a version of Star Fox with a model spaceship. The real world twists on some classic games made it hard not to smile underneath the weight of my VR helmet. I mean, look at this!
Where's the bubble?
I was always on the edge of my seat waiting to see what happens next. And these world-breaking events aren't nonsensical, they actually add a lot of weight to the plot. It is hard to discuss how they work without spoilers though, as a lot of the joy comes from the surprise. I will just say my favorite twist came when you're required to collect 8 diamonds in a game that only had 7.
Good luck, dork!
Ooh, it's very twisty. But despite being such a mechanical and visual treat, the game actually suffers from a lack of polish in its controls. I was playing on PSVR and it required a bit of juggling. As our protagonist spends most of their time holding a controller, it's best you do the same. Using the sticks and buttons on the standard controller felt far more intuitive compared to the button placement on the Move controllers. But when the action heats up and you need to use your digital hands to grab objects, things get a little messy. Now you're trying to move your character around with one hand on the controller whilst aiming a blaster or throwing a banana. I found it easiest to blindly find and swap to the Move controllers, but even still, I faced a fair bit of jankiness. It's a bit of chaos that becomes commonplace by the game's close. It's not a deal breaker, but it's certainly a bit of an immersion breaker. The experience is also quite short, clocking in at around 2.5 hours, and when there's just a sea of cool retro games at your fingertips, being pulled away from them gets a little bit disappointing. Give me the ability to play a few more levels of Pixel Rip 3D, possibly make the world feel a little bit more interactive and less like a choreographed set. Maybe allow us to choose our pixel-based character, even if Dot is pretty funky fresh as is. Ah, there goes Will complaining about things that aren't in the game again. But gang, it's because I really enjoyed what is here and I just want more. The nostalgia-driven gaming creations, the feeling of dread when mum tells you to turn the game off, and the insane game-to-life shenanigans. It's a fun and lighthearted VR adventure, so I'm giving Pixel Rip 1995 4 out of 5 rubber chickens. Oh, that was a lot of numbers. Now, how do I get home? Well, the home button.
Hello and welcome to The Scoop. And while the Electronic Entertainment Expo, or E3, physical event may have been cancelled for this year, there's no shortage of gaming announcements. Oh, let's take a look. First off, and as a part of IGN's Summer of Gaming digital event, we heard there's an Alex Kidd remake due for release early next year. Alex Kidd was once a Sega gaming icon, predating Sonic the Hedgehog, in fact. Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX will give the original Sega Master System Miracle World game from the 80s a graphics overhaul, add new levels to the original lineup, as well as new modes, like Retro Mode, so players can experience the style and feel of the original game. Moving on to the news of more upcoming games from the 2020 PC Gaming Show, which presented trailers for games like Blanco's Block Party, a world designer featuring vinyl toys come to life, Survival Sandbox Among Trees, Potion Trading RPG Potionomics, and the hand-drawn nautical multiplayer of Trash Sailors. We also heard about the Future Games Show, which showed off some other games to look out for, particularly indies like puzzle platformer Unbound Worlds Apart, the journey of a lost dog making its way home in Doggone, and the theatrical couch co-op of Stagehands. And speaking of indie games, The Escapist digitally showcased a bunch of upcoming titles too, including the enchanting story-based puzzler Minute of Islands, the action-adventure of Trifox, and the gorgeous-looking exploration game Windbound from Queensland-based 5 Live Studios. Very Legend of Zelda-like indeed. Oh, games ahoy! In other news, space exploration game No Man's Sky has now enabled cross-play. As of a recent free update, players can team up for inter-platform, interplanetary play, building, trade, and multiplayer missions, whether they're on PS4, PC, or Xbox One. That's sure to be an exciting frontier for the No Man's Sky player community. And now for the Extra Scoop! This week, we marvel at the clever creations of Sam Battle, who makes synthesizers and music using all sorts of retro gaming tech, like the Sega Mega Drive, the Atari 2600, and precious gaming artifact, the Nintendo Power Glove. Battle Turtle also manages to get his Power Glove synth controller working with a robotic hand. What a robo-virtuoso! Not unlike myself. Oh. Well, that's all the time we have for the scoop this week. Until we scoop again, a good game spawn point to you all. I don't mind that one. That could work, right?
Hey guys, welcome to Big Ant. I'm Ross Simon, CEO of Big Ant, and we're all about sports.
We've done cricket, tennis, lacrosse, rugby league. So there's a lot of titles that we've worked on over a 12-year period.
Originally, when we made sports games, it was all hand animated. What we found was that just wasn't good enough. So we had to borrow from Hollywood, grab some motion capture, and get the real players in.
We've, over the last 6 years, I think it is, we've set up a system, a photogrammetry system, which is 17 cameras that capture a full 360 of someone's head. Then we can take into the game. So we spend about 3-4 days on each player to get them as good as possible before they go in game. We also have a motion capture system here that captures the movement of all the players as well.
So we'll get Kokonakis or Kyrgios or Rafa, whoever, put them in a suit so you actually have them, and it makes all the difference. Motion capture works by capturing with multiple cameras, running at thousands of frames per second from multiple angles, and it works out where the joints are.
It involves me getting into a very tight Velcro suit.
And on each little area of their body where their arms move, there's a pointer, essentially.
So I'll be in the suit with a bunch of these little balls all over it, running around, pretending to play tennis shots and everything, and the cameras will track all these little balls in 3D space.
And it makes what we call a skeleton. We then take 3D art and put it on the skeleton, apply the motion capture.
And then our guys here will bring that into game.
I grew up playing tennis, so that's part of the reason that I'm the guy that's been in the suit most of the time with this. More than anything, it's been interesting learning the way that we have to capture these things, and specifically the little dance that I have to do at the beginning of each capture in order for the cameras to be tracking right.
So we've had some great times with the motion capture and the photogrammetry. We had Glenn Maxwell for the cricket, so a lot of our captures that we have in our cricket and Cricket 19 and Ashes cricket are him.
He came in the doors and he's like screaming, going, "I can't believe I'm going to be in a video game," you know. And you know, he was fantastic, and he does things like impersonations. So you could actually just scream a name out to him, and he impersonates him immediately on cue.
Jay Soria whip over point. Brian Lara 99 pull shot. Michael Bevan late cut for 4. He always got his knee up.
There's nothing like seeing someone seeing themselves for the first time in a game. It's amazing, because nearly every single one of them double takes. Fortunately or unfortunately, the guys play a prank, and the prank lives forever. So, you know, I went away for a licensing trip, come back and find out that I'm the umpire in our game. I'll go away and find out that guys have put little hidden Godzillas in the crowd or stuff like that. There's always Easter eggs and all sorts of fun happening.
That's another wicket.
We have an interesting thing that goes around. If anybody breaks the build when we're making it, we have a hat that goes around the office that at the end of the day we'll give an award for the person that's broken the build the most times.
Luckily enough, I have never worn the hat for breaking a game. However, it must be said that I actually don't code, so it's unlikely that I'll break the game. I may get an honorary hat at some point.
If you're interested in games, try and pick it up yourself. There's plenty of programs that you can use on your PCs or machines at home that allow you to make games. Roblox, things like that are easy kind of intros for younger people to get into. And the more you kind of do it yourself, I think that says a lot when you then try and come into a studio like here and say, hey, look what I've done. That counts for a lot.
it's that time once again. Time for the elegant dance of questions and answers that is Ask SP. So let's jitterbug over to this video from Neve and Zoe.
Hi GGSP. Today we have 4 questions for you. First question, what multiplayer games would you recommend for Nintendo Switch? Second question, can you get Frog Detective, an Untitled Goose Game, on Apple iPad?
Third question, what's your favourite Minecraft mob?
And fourth question, do you like our Minecraft avatars?
Thanks, Neve and Zoe. And I must say, I love your roller skates. I too am a fan of the shoes with wheels. See? Look at them. They're so shiny. Now, in answer to your question about good Switch multiplayer games, well, if you're after some fun games to play locally with friends or family, aside from the evergreen Nintendo classics like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I would recommend the Overcooked games, or something like Ultimate Chicken Horse for some party game fun. Oh, and Super Mario Party for a virtual board game experience. Perhaps even one of the more recently released multiplayer titles like Moving Out or Good Job. We reviewed them both on the show earlier this year, so you can take a look in our online archive to see what we thought. There are other games that have fun online multiplayer modes, like Splatoon 2 for example, but you can't play local couch multiplayer on one Switch console when playing Splatoon 2, so just keep that in mind. Now, on to your next question. I'm afraid that neither the Frog Detective games or Untitled Goose Game are currently available on iPad or tablet devices. That's not to say they won't ever be. I actually think both games could work pretty well on tablets. But for now at least, the Frog Detective games are only available for PC, and Untitled Goose Game is on PC, Xbox One, PS4 and Nintendo Switch. As for my favourite Minecraft mob, I do love those kooky looking villagers. Oh, and the foxes are adorable. And as I've said in the past, I do have a strange respect for creepers, even though they are utterly infuriating to encounter. And to your last question, yes, I do love your Minecraft avatars. Let's get a pic of those Minecraft avatars back up on the screen, shall we? Aren't they great? I'm liking Neve's cool purple hair. Very nice, very stylish, I can relate. And Zozo in that hip and happening bee-themed outfit. Beautiful. But before I get caught up in bee-related puns like many a GGSP host has done before, let's have another question. And why not make it a video question? And this one comes to us from Lennox.
Hi GGSP. Is the Origami King, Paper Mario the Origami King, same as Paper Mario the 1000-Year Door? Bye!
Thanks, Lennox. In answer to your question, Paper Mario the Origami King and Paper Mario the 1000-Year Door are actually 2 different games. Paper Mario the 1000-Year Door was originally released way back in 2004 for the Nintendo GameCube. It was the second installment in the Paper Mario series after the original Paper Mario for Nintendo 64. Whereas Paper Mario the Origami King is a whole new game for the Switch due out in July. So while it is a part of the Paper Mario series, it's not a remake or remaster or reboot or soft reboot or anything like that. It will follow the story of Paper Mario's quest to rescue Peach and her castle from the clutches of the Origami King, King Ollie. We'll have to wait until it's released to see how that plays out. Literally, how it all unfolds. All right, I think we have time for one more quick video, and this one comes to us from Matthew.
Hi GGSP, I have a few questions for you. 1, do you play Roblox? 2, if you do, what is your favourite game? 3, how many rubber chickens would you give Roblox? P.S. Darren, do these.
An emoticon request for Darren. Let me just dial that in.
Greetings, this is Darren.
Hey Darren, Matthew here has some emoticons for you to do.
Dollar bills!
Oh, thanks Darren. Oh, hey, do you play Roblox by any chance?
Oh, I've been known to dabble with a bit of Robot 64. It doesn't quite compare to Super Mario 64, which it's clearly inspired by. But how can you pass up a game about robots? Oh, robots in Roblox. Roblox with robots.
Yeah, that's great, Darren. Okay, cool, thanks. Well, bye.
So long.
for me, I don't mind playing a bit of Roblox here and there, especially when playing with pals or with GGS peeps during our live streams.
Yes, yes. We're doing so good. I think.
I would say my favourite Roblox games at the moment are probably Flee the Facility or maybe Natural Disaster Survival, both of which I think are best played with your friends. Though remember to always stay cyber safe when playing social games online. In answer to your third question about a rubber chicken score for Roblox, well, it's kind of a hard one to score as it's more of a game platform than it is a single game. And with so many games available to play with such varying degrees of quality and functionality, I'd struggle to put all that into a single rubber chicken score. I mean, how could we really quantify the sheer raw power and beauty that is Chicken Nugget Land? Anyway, would you look at the time? That's it for another Ask SP this week. If you have a question for us, go here and send it in. And if it's a video question that makes it onto the show, you'll score some sweet GGSP loot. Whew, now, I've got so much to do, so I better get my skates on, and how convenient it is that I happen to have them right here. They're just so shiny. I love them.
Well, that's all for another episode of GGSP, but come hang out with us next week because we have some great things lined up for you. Terraria's final update has landed with Journey's End, so I'm heading back to this modern classic to review it in its final form. And Jem will be checking out the remastered colourful hack and slash action of Wonderful 101 Remastered. And of course, don't forget to get your extra snack-sized serve of GGSP on the ABC Me app. This week, you can watch me jump on the choo-choo that is Monster Train. But until next time, may all your games be good ones. Rat out.
Jem out.
Will out.